Okay, so what if I told you that basically everything we think we know about insulin resistance is wrong? Today we're diving into a really different way of looking at it. One that says it's not some disease, but actually your body's own smart, deliberate plan to protect itself.
And that brings us to the big question for today. Is insulin resistance a sign that our bodies are failing, something we need to fix? Or is it actually a carefully designed survival protocol that's trying to save us?
To even start to answer that, we have to look at the body's energy balance in a completely new light, one that might just challenge everything you've been taught. I mean, we've all heard the standard story, right? You eat too much sugar, your cells get tired of it, they start ignoring insulin, and boom, sugar piles up in your blood. Seems pretty straightforward. But this framework, it flips that whole idea on its head. It says that high blood sugar isn't the problem we need to fight, it's actually the solution the body comes up with for a much bigger, more dangerous crisis happening deep inside.
To really get this, you've got to see the body a little differently. So, forget the textbook diagrams for a second. Instead, just picture your body as this battleground where two huge opposing forces are constantly at work.
And this right here is the central conflict. On one side, you've got the brain system, and on the other, the bone marrow system. Think of them like they're in a constant tug of war, fighting for resources and control of the body.
So here's how they're different. The brain system is what we'd call cool, or yin. It's our central command, running the nervous system, and it runs on sugar, glucose. But the bone marrow system is the total opposite. It's hot, or yang. This is the engine for our physical strength, for our healing, and its fuel is fat and protein.
All right, so where does the pancreas fit into all this? Well, in this model, its job is way, way bigger than just dealing with sugar.
According to this theory, the pancreas is like the command center for the whole bone marrow system. Its main job isn't just to manage sugar, it's to produce insulin to process fats and proteins, the very things that power up this hot system and give us our physical strength.
And this just changes everything. From this perspective, a pancreas that's pumping out a lot of insulin isn't a sign of a problem. It's the sign of a really powerful, really strong bone marrow system. It's a sign of strength, not sickness.
Okay, so what happens when this powerful system gets pushed into overdrive? What happens when that internal furnace gets way too hot?
It all kicks off when a really strong pancreas sends out a surge of insulin. And this doesn't just deal with sugar. It acts like a supercharger for the bone marrow, just flooding it with energy from the fats and proteins you're eating.
Now, this massive energy surge creates an incredible amount of internal heat. We're talking serious metabolic overdrive. It can actually raise your core body temperature to 37.5, even 38 degrees Celsius. Your body is, quite literally, overheating from the inside out.
And this is a code red emergency for your body. That cool brain system is incredibly sensitive to temperature. It just can't handle this kind of heat. It's a direct threat to its survival.
So, how does the body handle this? Does it panic? No, it has a protocol. It launches an emergency countermeasure to save its most important asset, the brain.
The brain basically hits the big red button. It sends a command to the liver to release its strategic reserve of coolant. And what is that emergency coolant? It's sugar.
So the liver dumps glucose into your bloodstream not because something's broken, but on purpose. It's a deliberate act to bring the body's internal temperature back down and save the brain. This means that the high blood sugar that we call a problem isn't the disease. It's the medicine. It's the fire extinguisher putting out the fire.
And this all leads to a really crucial idea. This framework argues that we have been mistakenly lumping two totally different conditions together and just calling them both diabetes.
Just look at how different these are. What we normally call type 2 is a crisis of heat, and it's driven by too much insulin from a superactive pancreas. But what we call type 1 is a crisis of cold, and it's caused by not enough insulin from a weak pancreas. They're polar opposites.
So basically, one body is overheating from too much power and is using sugar to cool down. The other body is freezing because it lacks fuel, and it has to dump the sugar that it can't even use.
This theory even suggests that the way we test tells the whole story. A blood test showing high sugar, that means the body is actively using that sugar as a coolant. But a urine test showing sugar, that means the body is actively throwing away a fuel source it can no longer process. Totally different situations.
And that really leaves us with one last big question to think about. If a condition that we've been treating as a disease is actually a brilliant survival mechanism, well, what else might we be getting wrong? What other signals from our bodies have we been calling problems when they might just be signs of its incredible adaptive intelligence?